Beneath a gray sky, a sudden rift tore through space, opening a dark gate where the world began to sink into chaos and destruction as ferocious monsters from the demon world emerged. With sharp claws and blazing eyes, they flooded in like a raging torrent spreading terror, and in that moment of despair, a chosen few awakened as hunters bestowed with special abilities from MANHWA. A mysterious source of power, but thanks to them, humanity found a glimmer of hope and gradually began to fight back. As time passed, the ruined cities were rebuilt despite countless remaining difficulties. But at least some people could live in a fragile peace. However, the number of naturally awakened hunters was too small to stop the continuous attacks of the monsters, so humanity, in its struggle for survival, created artificial entities called chimera hunters, who were crafted from terrifying materials. Death row inmates, animal carcasses, minerals from within the demon gate, and monster cells. This bold collaboration between the scientific community and the hunter community enabled the mass production of chimeras, becoming a reality, drastically reducing the mortality rate of hunters and saving countless lives. The world, albeit slowly, seemed to be reclaiming its former light in the cold darkness of the late night. In an illegal chimera laboratory hidden deep underground, a man's low but weary voice was heard. "I just need to check this last one and then I can go home." Two men descended to the 18th basement level where the air was heavy and musty. The door to the high-rank chimera containment room appeared before them, cold and gloomy, as the man in front held a flashlight. Shining a weak light on the door, he said worriedly, but number 17's arm seems to be rotting. The fat guy behind him, sweat beading on his forehead, yelled in panic, "Hey, don't get too close!" Just like that other guy. The other man replied with unusual calm and a steady voice, "It's fine. Its brain is broken, so it can't move without an order." He pointed to number 17's right arm and shook his head. "But do you see? Its right arm is completely rotted away. Huh, is this a side effect of the experiment? What's so scary about a thing that can't even see what's in front of it? Just walk past it. It's going to be disposed of anyway." The fat guy was still trembling, so he was teased. "All right, you coward, are you scared?" Number 17 was silent, its soulless eyes watching the two men leave without a single reaction. In the lab director's office, a dim light illuminated the professor's cold face. He was reporting number 17 is as good as gone. Its body is almost completely destroyed. Any other specimen would have died long ago. The professor asked with a sharp gaze, "How much longer can it live?" The man answered without hesitation, 1 month at most." His colleague beside him nodded. "I agree." The professor smiled dangerously, a cruel intent flashing in his eyes. "Then let it join the gate-sealing mission and have it cover the rear when the hunters return, but do not give it the order to retreat." In the demon world's rugged, rocky area, number 17, John Dogan stood silently, his soulless eyes watching a giant monster with a gaping maw and sharp claws lunging toward him. Without hesitation, he slashed it to pieces, black blood splattering everywhere. Another monster erupted from the ground, roaring fiercely as he launched himself into the air. He unleashed a flurry of sharp slashes, felling the enemy in an instant. The ever-growing horde of monsters began to irritate him, and from John Dogan's mouth a sphere of energy formed and exploded. Wiping out the entire swarm in a single blow on a nearby cliff, 3 hunters watched in amazement. One of them exclaimed, "Incredible. It wiped out all those monsters in a single attack. That's an S-rank chimera hunter for you." The blond young man looked worriedly at the spatial gate, but the gate shows no sign of closing. It's already been 3 days. His teammate beside him replied confidently, "Don't worry too much. We can handle however many monsters show up, as long as we have that S-rank chimera. We just need to deal with the few stragglers left." The spatial gate began to shrink, and the young man immediately reported to his teammates, "Gate closing signal confirmed." He sheathed his weapon and laughed loudly. "Excellent time to go home. Everyone pull out of the gate now." John Dogan continued to fight, his body covered in black blood. A woman on the team looked back as she ran and asked, "Wait, aren't we bringing that thing back?" A teammate said in a cold voice, "Just leave it. We have orders not to bring it back." The girl was surprised. "What, isn't it incredibly expensive?" "I heard it's about to die anyway." She looked at John Dogan with a flicker of pity. "I feel a bit sorry for it. Thanks to it, we had no heavy casualties this time." He cut her off with a stern voice. "Don't sympathize with it. Technically, that thing isn't a living being. They're monsters. Things like that only know how to follow orders." The eyes on John Dogan's arm began to bleed. He furiously threw a monster aside. Inside his head, a cold command echoed. "This mission is solely to ensure the hunter's safe retreat." A giant earthworm with a mouthful of sharp teeth lunged at him. John Dogan generated a bolt of lightning from his body, causing the monster to vanish without a trace. But he lost an arm in the process, yet the voice echoed again. "Do you understand? There is nothing else besides that when the mission is over." You do not need to return retreat, ensure completion return, but the final order was not permitted that day. The mission result for Chimera Hunter number 17. For Chan-Dogun was recorded no hunter casualties, a total of 1,823 monsters eliminated. As his body faded away, his erased memories suddenly surfaced, showing that Dogun had once been an ordinary human being. Kidnapped at just 9 years old, the memories replayed as hazy as a dream. Unfortunately, his damaged brain could not understand the meaning of these images, but he quietly watched his past life unfold. 79 years ago, a man looked at the child in his arms with intense red eyes. The child's name was 75 years ago. He angrily shouted at a trembling Chan-Dogun, "You threw a rock at your friend just for being teased." "How many times has this been?" With the harsh slam of a door, Chan-Dogun was thrown out of his home. "We can't take care of you anymore." Under the dim light of a flickering street lamp, Chan-Dogun's exhausted body collapsed onto the cold ground in front of several figures with looks of pure contempt. They grumbled with annoyance. "Kids from the slums just keep pouring in. How many is that now?" When Chan-Dogun woke up, he found himself on a hard bed, his limbs tied tightly with ropes. Unable to move, a faint light from the ceiling illuminated his pale face. A group of doctors in white coats stood around him, talking animatedly. "Is this the new test subject? What's its designation? Number 17, make sure it cannot escape, understood." Another doctor continued in a robotic, monotone all-right note that number 17 has been injected with S+ rank mutated silkworm cells. They watched intently, their gazes as sharp as needles. "Now let's observe the reaction. Good." Suddenly, one doctor exclaimed in astonishment, "What, there are no side effects at all?" They exchanged bewildered glances. "It has acquired a special ability, yet its human appearance and personality are unchanged. It seems to have a unique constitution." Another doctor ordered in a voice as cold as ice, "Keep injecting it with everything until there's a reaction." The needles gleamed under the dim lights. One after another, they pierced Chan-Dogun's body, bringing silent agony. 64 years ago, amidst the thick smoke and dust of the battlefield, Chan-Dogun's shoulders trembled uncontrollably. He stood defiantly, facing a monster that rushed forward like a dark tornado. A blinding light flared from his hand like an incinerating flame, turning the monsters to dust without a trace. From that terrifying power, the entire street collapsed with rubble flying everywhere. A woman holding a trembling child in her arms, tears of gratitude rolling down her cheeks, said, "Thank you for saving us." An injured man, clutching his bleeding arm, said apologetically, "Sorry for making a kid like you shoulder everything." Chan-Dogun replied calmly, "It's okay." 59 years ago, in a fleeting moment of clarity, Chan-Dogun thoughtfully wondered, "Wait a minute, why am I here? What am I doing?" The old professor emerged from the shadows with a venomous smile. "Oh, hello, number 17. Why did you stop? Are your memories confusing you?" He sneered. "The side effects are finally showing up." 54 years ago, after 15 years of being injected with over 500 types of monster cells, the results were announced. At least S-rank hunter abilities, immeasurable. Number 17 is the greatest masterpiece of our lab. 25 years ago, in a small alley, the dim light of an oil lamp shone on the face of a kind girl. She held out a piece of fresh meat, her eyes gentle. Number 17. "You're a kind person, aren't you?" She was startled as Chan-Dogun devoured the piece of meat, then turned to the others and smiled. "I told you it would eat." The people nearby whispered in horror. "My God, that's disgusting." A mother pulled her child away, her voice trembling. "You shouldn't watch things like that." 3 days ago, Chan-Dogun fought until he was exhausted, his body turning to nothing like ash in the wind. Mission complete. The morning sunlight shone down upon the ravaged land. Where monster blood and corpses were strewn about, a single white bone fragment lay on the dry earth. Suddenly, the skeleton began to move, soaring into the sky and radiating a brilliant light like the flame of resurrection. Chimera Hunter number 17, who had been injected with 527 types of monster cells, began to regenerate. Muscles gradually formed and human legs appeared. Chan-Dogun stared at his own body in amazement, his voice trembling. "What is happening? Have I become human again? I've been reborn." He mused to himself that considering his monster cells were still active, he couldn't say he had completely returned to being human. He pondered as his gaze swept over the desolate land. It seemed a long time had passed since the experiment, and the lab still hadn't come to retrieve him. "I've been discarded." Even the experiment number on his wrist was gone. He smiled bitterly. "Does this mean I don't have to run from the lab anymore?" He speculated in a low voice about the reason his body had become like this. "It must be due to the power of the fire-type monster. I heard that if its core isn't destroyed, it can survive up to 3 times, but I also heard human cells cannot fuse with phoenix cells. What's certain is that my body has returned to its peak condition." He felt power surging, probably because all the side effects from the experiment have vanished. "That's why I feel healthier than ever." Ever since the side effects began, my mind has been in a constant fog, and even the anti-betrayal spells on my body have disappeared. He looked up, his eyes shining with hope if his life as number 17 had truly ended. Maybe now I can finally live like a human. John Dogan recalled the past with a bitter voice, just a number the lab had arbitrarily assigned to me. The old professor once said with a contemptuous voice, "You're pretty good, oh wait, no. You have a twisted personality, at least try to live to help others even if you have to force yourself." "Yeah, the kind of life where you save 1,000 people," he sneered. "How about that name for you, John Dogan?" John Dogan's heart ached as he cried out honestly, "Who can a stray cat save? For now, I'll just keep moving." He pondered with a distant gaze. Revenge, huh? Revenge requires a target, but honestly, it all feels like it happened a long time ago. The flames of hatred aren't burning like they used to, and he looked up at the sky, telling himself, well, if I keep living, I'll run into them sooner or later. I'll figure it out then. He looked down at the arid road. After some time, I've made my decision. Let's go with that. Now let's try living like a human and see how it goes. Dogan walked slowly along the dusty road. He mumbled. When was the last time I wore clothes, he wondered, stopping at a cool river bend. His gaze swept over the sparkling water, but what should I make clothes from? A river, huh? I'll take a look around suddenly. He stared in astonishment at the sight before him. Was there a territorial dispute here or something? A large beast lay dead, its body without any obvious wounds. He thought it looked strong but died from poison. Good, I needed some hide right on time as his hand transformed into a sharp blade, glistening under the sun. Well, now John Dogan mumbled in satisfaction. I needed a knife to skin it anyway, right? He recalled the techniques learned in the lab, speaking in a monotone. First, a vertical incision down the belly, then cut across to the armpit. Good, one more time. He slowly ran the blade down the beast's hide. A powerful stream of toxic gas burst out with a pungent smell. He frowned. This is poison, but he calmly continued without any hostile intent. It stinks too much, I've got to skin it. When he was finished, he looked at the hide and nodded. Done not bad for a first-timer in the sparkling sunlit river. John Dogan carefully washed the animal pelt as the current washed away the clinging grime. He stared at the hide in his hand in amazement, mumbling, I thought it would be soft from the looks of it. It must be monster hide, that's why it's so stiff and untreated. Then an idea suddenly struck him. John Dogan gripped the pelt and punched it repeatedly. Powerful blows landing rhythmically. He wondered doubtfully, is this how you treat hide? I guess it must be. After a while, he stopped his hands and nodded in satisfaction. All done. It's so soft now. Good. I think the size is all right, too. Suddenly behind him, a monster bird with its body engulfed in crimson flames unexpectedly moved. John Dogan ignored it and walked away, dust flying with each step as he poked holes in the hide and slipped his two arms through. I wonder if this is all right. It fits my body perfectly. Suddenly he realized the inside of the hide was still sticky with a toxic liquid that hadn't been washed off. He shrugged and mumbled, whatever, I'm too lazy, I'll just wear it. Turning around, he was startled to see the monster bird was alive again. Its crimson eyes staring intently at him. He was shocked. What the heck? It's not dead. I'm certain I used to be human. The bird seemed to understand and shook its head repeatedly, which surprised John Dogan. Why do I feel like it understands what I'm saying, or is it just an illusion? He wondered. Its body was stiff with death, but it's still alive. He thought that must mean this thing is immortal, too. He recalled the past if it were the old me. As a hunter, I would have killed it without a second thought, but now it's too weak to be a threat. There's no need to kill it anymore. He looked at the bird and said in a low voice, You're lucky, and so am I. This is my second life, so live it well. If we're fated to, we'll meet again somewhere. John Dogan silently entered a cave, his eyes scanning the damp rock walls as he observed and calculated. Now that the clothing issue is settled, I need a house. Suddenly, a crack appeared on the wall and a giant centipede emerged, aiming straight for him. Dogan was calm, his eyes cold and sharp. It's a bit too dark in here, isn't it? With just one move, he defeated the beast, its corpse falling to the ground. He walked on, coldly ignoring the snowflakes fluttering around him. Ahead lay a vast, white, snowy expanse. A few snow apes lay motionless. He mumbled, finding food here would be tough pass. He wrinkled his nose. What's that smell? Pass too damp, pass hot enough to kill. Pass, after much searching. John Dogan stopped before a magnificent waterfall, its water roaring, he exclaimed with shining eyes. The scenery is truly beautiful. I never thought I'd find nature this beautiful. Guess I'll walk around a little more. He lightly jumped to the other bank. Standing on a moss-covered rock and looking down at the sparkling water, they looked tasty. If I catch and grill the fish right here, it would be like camping. He smiled. This place is like a natural fish farm. Building a house nearby wouldn't be bad, and there are flowers, too. The fresh air all around made him happy. Great John Dogan's house will be here. A strong wind swept the dust from the ground. A bolt of electricity flashed, and a spatial gate suddenly appeared. Thick smoke and dust billowed out as a mechanical creature landed. Its glowing red eyes scanned the surroundings. John Dogan stood in the middle of the valley, looking at the golden flowers sparkling in the sun and marveling there are even flowers here and the air is so fresh. This place is so beautiful I can hear the waterfall too. It's about a 10-minute walk from the valley. He nodded. All right, I should try building a house. He sent out threads of power like invisible blades felling the ancient trees in front of him. John Dogan observed the surroundings and noted in a low voice, "The ground here is pretty good too. I'll set aside the good quality logs. This many trees should be enough," he frowned. The ground is a bit too uneven, though. He cleared the area. Sunlight shone down, brightening the entire plot of land. Oh, this spot is good, plenty of sunlight. I'll just let my limbs work instinctively. He drove stakes into the four corners, mumbling, what is this called again? Free will. Anyway, this is quite fun, probably because this is my first house. He laid down planks for the floor, musing in a low voice. As for the walls, since there are no nails, I'll use the slime from those snail-like monsters. He recalled that it hardens like stone when dry. I wonder if it's waterproof. The roof was made from the shimmering silk of silkworm larvae cocoons. He looked at the result and nodded. Perfect. Even most monsters would have a hard time getting close. But the finished product was utterly horrifying, with snail monster slime smeared everywhere, yet in his eyes the house looked cozy. I like it, but it feels like something's still missing. It's not quite enough. John Dogan pondered, recalling old images. What do human houses usually have, according to the educational videos from the lab? People usually plant trees in the yard or raise a dog, but that's impossible out here. He mumbled, plants, huh? Should I make a vegetable garden? But what can you even grow in the demon world? Suddenly his eyes lit up. There's a snow mountain nearby. Should I plant mandragora? Without hesitating, he headed toward the snow mountain with steady steps. Slowly, John Dogan approached the area thick with miasma near the snowy peak. The snow was falling as thick as a white mist. It's really snowing hard, just what you'd expect from a snow mountain, he recalled in a sad, low voice the day the lab kidnapped me. It was snowing this heavily, too. It was so cold back then, I thought being taken away was a better fate. He smiled bitterly, thinking back, becoming a chimera isn't so bad. I no longer worry about dying from cold or hunger. He sensed the miasma. Based on the amount of it, I must be close. The snow gradually subsided, and finally he saw lush green shoots on the ground. His eyes lit up. I found them. Thank goodness the trip wasn't in vain, he whispered. Mandragora are extremely sensitive to stress. Just like those sunfish-type monsters, they can die from just a slight environmental change. Under the snow that glittered like 1,000 gems, John Dogan gently touched the young mandragora shoots, feeling the soft, trembling sensation under his fingertips as if touching a living creature. He mumbled, his pensive voice like the cold wind blowing over the peak. If I want to move them, it's best to choose the seedlings. They adapt more easily, right? He began to uproot them with careful movements, as if afraid of hurting those tiny creatures, when he suddenly startled and whispered, I should have covered my ears. These things are going to scream, but the mandragoras only stirred slightly, looking adorable, as if deep in a dream, which made him wonder, what is this? He pulled up another one and then another, observing them closely. This one was the same. Looking at the soundly sleeping mandragoras, he chuckled softly, his eyes twinkling. Don't tell me they're talking in their sleep. He mused, as if recounting an old tale. The so-called scream of the mandragora only occurs when they are artificially cultivated by humans in the human realm, where the demonic energy is weak and they are always under extreme stress. If they're pulled up forcefully, they'll scream and die instantly. He pressed his finger against a mandragora, whispering, it makes sense that I can't hear a scream. Because this is the demon realm. He frowned to himself, but why aren't they resisting? Normally, they should try to escape. Perhaps they recognize me as one of their own. He smiled, his eyes showing a hint of pride. My body also has mandragora cells implanted in it. Carefully, he tucked 3 mandragoras into his belt. He muttered to himself, well, this is good. Less stress makes it easier to live. If they grow well, I'll ask for a few of their secondary roots to make tea later on. Besides, mandragora fruits can be eaten as snacks. He suddenly remembered, his voice lowering. I heard that if you pick the fruit by force, it becomes extremely poisonous. You have to coax it gently. Suddenly, he sensed someone else's presence. His sharp gaze swept across the white veil of snow. It seems there are hunters nearby. Why would they venture to this dangerous snowy mountain? Stepping firmly on the snow, he decided I'll probably swing by the gate for a bit, then head over to check it out. Far in the distance, 2 men stood with bitter expressions on their faces. One roared in anger. Damn it, they used us as bait and ran away. Oh Cheong-du tried to stay calm and yelled, get a grip. They're coming back. Suddenly, the monsters charged forward, roaring furiously like a dark storm. A monster rabbit opened its grotesque mouth, baring teeth as sharp as blades. Kim Tae-hun trembled, crying helplessly, "We're done for. The shield is about to break. I should have just stuck to doing odd jobs. Why did I volunteer to hunt a chimera? Somebody please help!" A sudden explosion erupted, and thick dust and smoke covered the area like a deadly fog. The panicked monsters scattered in all directions like dry leaves in a gale. Oh Cheong-du was astonished, his voice trembling. "What was that? Is that a person?" The figure of Chon Do-gun slowly emerged from the smoke, his eyes as cold as the ice on a mountain peak. One monster bared its fangs and growled threateningly, but the entire pack was trembling. Feeling the killing intent radiating from him, Chon Do-gun casually glanced at the snow rabbit and said, "Long time no see." The terrified monsters trampled over each other to flee. Oh Cheong-du and Kim Tae-hun stared their eyes wide with disbelief. No way B-rank monsters are running away just from seeing him. They quickly bowed, their voices filled with gratitude. "Thank you for saving us." They introduced themselves. "I am Oh Cheong-du, and this is Kim Tae-hun." "Cheon Do-gun," he said coolly. Cheon Do-gun. Kim Tae-hun thought blankly. "I've never heard that name before." He looked at Chon Do-gun's strange outfit made from monster hide and muttered, "What kind of outfit is that? Don't tell me he's an anonymous hunter." Chon Do-gun turned to them, his gaze as sharp as a blade. "What are you doing here? Judging by your looks, you're probably only D rank. You should know how dangerous this snowy mountain is." Kim Tae-hun answered without hiding anything, actually. "It's for the money. There's a mission requesting the live capture of a chimera for a very handsome reward." Oh, Chon Do-gun frowned, a hint of surprise in his voice. "A chimera? Impossible." Kim Tae-hun further explained, "Oh, I heard a test subject escaped from a laboratory. It's a mechanical organism that jumped into a gate when it fled." Chon Do-gun's gaze darkened as he thought to himself, if it were a mechanical organism, they wouldn't be chasing after it. He looked at them and asked, "But where is your gear? Did you come to the demon realm empty-handed? Where is your gate, Crystal?" Kim Tae-hun answered immediately, his voice filled with bitterness. The others in my group took everything and ran. It was their plan from the very beginning." Chon Do-gun nodded, realizing the harsh truth. "So those scoundrels have the gate, Crystal." Kim Tae-hun's voice trembled, his eyes filled with despair. "Do you have a plan to get back? We're not going to last much longer. You know what happens when you get contaminated by demonic energy." Chon Do-gun, unaffected by the demonic energy, heard a cry for help echoing from afar. Oh Cheong-du begged, his voice breaking. "Please, can you take us back to the human realm? My wife is pregnant, please." Chon Do-gun followed a thread of power with his eyes and whispered, "Found it." He immediately launched himself high into the air, his body like a lightning bolt tearing through the white snow. Oh Cheong-ju and Kim Tae-hun called out in alarm, "So please, sir, where are you going? Please take us with you, please." Far in the distance, a mechanical creature stood tall, its glowing red eyes scanning the snow-covered valley. It remarked in a cold, metallic voice, "This place seems dangerous." A group of 3 charged forward, shouting, "Now is the time, get it, charge." The mechanical creature turned its gaze as terrifying as a cold steel blade, recognizing the threat. It whispered, "If it is dangerous, then eliminate it." With a single strike, it made all 3 of them disappear in an instant under the glistening snow. Chon Do-gun finally arrived at the chaotic scene. Where dust and the signs of battle still lingered, he muttered in a voice as low as the cold wind, "Am I too late? It looks like all the hunters fled, even leaving their gear behind." He bent down, observing the ground covered in a child's footprints mixed with the sharp claw marks of a beast. It was constantly changing its form during the fight. He suddenly recalled Kim Tae-hun's words echoing in his mind. A test subject escaped from the lab. It's a mechanical organism, and they say it jumped into a gate when it fled. It's made of liquid metal, so it can freely change its shape. He frowned, imagining it, but because the materials are rare, they only made it small, about the size of a child or a large dog. Chon Do-gun smiled, a flicker of amusement in his eyes. That mechanical organism. Overpowering 5 B-rank hunters all by itself is pretty impressive. Suddenly, a scream shattered the silence of the snowy mountain. Oh Cheong-du, his entire body trembling in pain, yelled, "Snap out of it." Oh Cheong-du, he clutched his body, his voice desperate, "I can't take it anymore. My body has been completely corroded by the demonic energy." Though exhausted, Kim Tae-hun tried to encourage his comrade, "Don't say such things. Your child is going to be born next month. Remember." But he himself coughed up blood, his voice weak. "If I can't go back, tell my wife I'm sorry." Tears streamed down Kim Tae-hun's cheeks, his vision blurring with pain. Oh Cheong-du, hung on. There is still a chance for a miracle. Hearing a noise. Kim Tae-hun spun around startled and saw Chon Do-gun carrying a bag full of mandragoras. He was shocked. "That is our luggage." Without a second thought, Kim Tae-hun rushed forward and knelt before Chon Do-gun. Please, Sir Chan, we beg you, please save us. Dogen was slightly startled by the sight. He thought to himself, ah, that's right. There's still the gate crystal. In this lawless demon realm, it's finders keepers. He looked at Kim Tae-hun thoughtfully. Trembling, Kim Tae-hun pulled out 2 checks. His voice desperate, these 2 checks are worth 2 million. It's our only lifeline. Please just give us 1 gate crystal. If we don't return now, we will certainly die. Chan Dogen stared at the 2 checks and muttered 2 million, huh? I don't need anything right now, but I'm sure I'll need this in the human realm later. He took out the gate crystal, here you go. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Kim Tae-hun bowed his head to the ground. Thank you, I will never forget this favor. He turned to his comrade, Oh Cheong, to get up. We can still make it if we hurry. He then turned to Chan Do-gun and asked with a hint of doubt, didn't gate crystals used to cost only about 200,000 won? Right, Kim Tae-hun was surprised that was a very long time ago. Now they're about 1 million won. Why do you ask? Chan Do-gun reached his hand toward Oh Cheong-do, his voice calm. It just feels like I took a bit too much. So let me return the difference like this. He transferred mana into Oh Cheong-do's body as a faint blue light shimmered. Kim Tae-hun stared in shock and yelled, Chan Do-gun, you're transferring mana. Wait, even A-rank hunters avoid transferring mana. If the mana collides and becomes turbulent, the mana core could shatter and you'll both die. Huh, but Oh Cheong-do was already healthy and jumped to his feet, exclaiming excitedly, yeah, the demonic energy has been purified. We survived, Kim Tae-hun, we survived. Kim Tae-hun, held in a tight hug by his comrade, stared wide-eyed in disbelief. Impossible. Chan Do-gun finished his work, turned, and began to walk away, his voice cold. Well, I'm off now. You two should hurry back. Oh Cheong-do bowed his head to the ground in gratitude. Thank you, Chan Do-gun. We will never forget your kindness. Kim Tae-hun, still reeling from the shock, muttered he cleansed the demonic energy by transferring mana. That's impossible unless his mana is overwhelmingly dominant. Just who in the world is Chan Do-gun walked toward his small cabin, a lonely figure in the snowy mountains. From a distance, the house looked as fearsome as a monster's fortress. He smiled. Good. No intruders entered my little house. This trip's unexpected harvest is very satisfying. He looked at the mandragoras in his bag, his voice gentle. Are you awake now? It seems the long journey tired you little ones out. Your leaves have all fallen off. He looked at them as limp as wet noodles and chuckled. Are you unhappy? What's wrong? Don't you like being moved? Ah, maybe you're hungry from traveling without any soil around you. He whispered, so do you want to try a little mana? You usually love it. The mandragoras perked up as if re-energized. He grinned. That's more like it. Are you guys even monsters anymore? He mused anyway that energy stream must be what the hunters are tracking. What would a mechanical being want with me? He shrugged. Oh well, if it needs something, it will show itself. I'll save the money for later. He checked his luggage, a portable kitchen and cookware essentials for outdoor cooking, 8 portal crystals for traveling between worlds, and spare clothes stained with pollen. The 2-person sleeping bag for a warm rest needs washing. I'm pretty well prepared. He smiled, impressive. This is ramen. The last time I ate this was at the orphanage. He murmured in a low, sad voice, I'm hungry just in time. Let's cook some noodles. He boiled 500 milliliters of water, eyeballing the amount the water from the lake began to bubble, when suddenly a few fierce fish leaped out. Chan Do-gun gently flicked water at them and laughed. Ah, that's right. People often add toppings to their noodles. Fish would probably be delicious. He looked around for ingredients like eggs or onions. This fish has bugs on it. I guess I can use them instead. There are no scallions, but this herb should be fine. Just as he finished preparing and turned around, a mechanical creature suddenly emerged from the bushes, clutching its rumbling stomach. It muttered, cooking, that person is cooking. As Chan Do-gun lit the stove, the aroma of ramen spread. He mumbled, there's no note on when to add the fish. I'll just toss it all in to boil together. He looked at the mismatched table and chairs and chuckled softly. But does ramen always smell this good? Faint memories flooded back the scent, pulling him back to days long past. The exhausted mechanical creature caught the scent and whispered, this smell is food I want to eat too. What should I do? It recalled what it had seen in the laboratory. Humans, like dogs, humans help the pitiful under the fading sunlight on the snowy mountain peak. A small dog suddenly rushed toward Chan Do-gun, its eyes glinting with a metallic sheen. He narrowed his eyes, immediately recognizing its true nature, a mechanical being. It's been following me for a while now. Turning into a dog to make me lower my guard, huh? It's even pretending to be injured to gain sympathy. He observed it closely, noticing its small size. It looks young, probably still learning. How did this thing escape the lab and get to the demon world? Chan Do-gun spoke, his voice low but gentle. It's ready, I guess. Do you want to try some? The dog, which was actually the mechanical creature, stared at the bubbling pot of noodles, drooling. Dogan looked at his own bizarre-looking bowl of noodles and mumbled, "Well, then I'll give it a try too." The two of them sat down to enjoy the fragrant pot of noodles. When he took his first bite, a wave of emotion washed over him. He whispered, "This taste memories are rushing back like the wind." Images of an 8-year-old Dogan eating noodles with his friends at the orphanage appeared. "Here's the noodles. Be careful, it's still hot, Mum." He couldn't help but devour the steaming hot noodles. Overcome with emotion, he thought, it really does taste just like that. It's delicious nearby. The mandragora swayed as if drunk on the scent of the noodles. The smell is so strong it overpowers everything. Dogan stood with his hands on his hips, looking at the dog with a cold gaze. "Now that you've finished eating, get going. I still have to clean up," he frowned, realizing he'd seen the little guy limping on its left leg earlier. The dog, startled, quickly switched legs, pretending to be normal. Dogan sat by the rushing waterfall. He washed the dishes, muttering now, "I guess I'll try doing laundry. I don't have any happy memories with pollen. I can't keep wearing dirty clothes forever." He carefully washed a shirt, whispering, "I'm not a prehistoric man. If I wash it too hard, it'll get ruined. I have to be gentle." But with just one light tap, the washing stone shattered. His face fell, but he comforted himself. "It's okay. I still have one more chance." His gaze accidentally fell upon another stone. But this time he was startled. It turned into a rock again. "Why does that mechanical creature keep hanging around here?" He recalled how while he was eating noodles, washing dishes, and looking at the saffron-like flowers, it kept getting closer, changing its form, but doing nothing. A bee flew near a log, causing the mechanical creature to run around in a panic, constantly muttering, "Bees, bees, I hate bees." Dogan smirked, thinking its mental age must be less than 5. He faked a few coughs, making it flustered and hide. "Oh, the saffron flowers are so pretty." He looked at the bright white shirt in his hands and exclaimed, "Doing laundry is more tiring than I thought, but at least I got this one clean. It looks a bit small. I probably can't wear it. I'll just set it aside for now. It'd be a waste to throw it away after all the effort of washing it." Then he turned his attention to the mandragoras, muttering now to check on the plants. But the mechanical creature was still hiding nearby. It touched the drying shirt. "That man wears clothes too. I guess I'll wear clothes too." Suddenly it transformed, long hair appeared, a human arm emerged, and it took the form of a little girl. It mumbled, "All right, this outfit is mine now." Dogan looked in astonishment at the wilting mandragoras. He wondered, why are the little ones behaving so strangely? Their leaves are starting to wilt and the roots are a bit dry. He frowned and bent down to check the soil. "That's weird, I pulled all the weeds when I was gardening." "Oh, what's this?" "There's all sorts of stuff in the soil," he sighed. "I should have tilled the soil more thoroughly. I almost killed them. I should make a proper garden, maybe about the size of the house will do." The little girl that the mechanical creature had transformed into, hiding behind a tree, called out a greeting. Dogan immediately recognized the disguise and smirked. "A girl this time, so you finally decided to talk to me." He replied, "Yeah, hello there." The little girl, now named Kim Nari, looked dazedly at Dogan's house. "Is that your house?" He nodded, his voice full of pride. "Yeah, it is." Kim Nari's eyes lit up, and she asked, "So are you a native here?" Dogan chuckled softly, thinking, should I mess with it a little? After a moment of thought, he spoke, "That's right. What tribe are you from?" The unexpected question made Kim Nari freeze. She stammered, "A tribe, huh? I'm from the other side of the waterfall. It's really far, so far you'd never find it." Dogan said, "Really is. That so if you're near the waterfall, could it be the washing tribe?" As if grasping a lifeline, Kim Nari nodded eagerly. "That's right, I'm from the washing tribe." He didn't stop his teasing, "But that outfit seems to be mine." Kim Nari immediately retorted, "In my tribe, whoever finds it first gets to keep it. So now it's mine." Dogan shrugged. "All right, then you can keep it. So why did you come from the washing tribe?" Kim Nari fumbled and made something up. Actually, I was exiled from my tribe, so I want to ask you for a favor." "I want to live here. I hope you'll allow me." Dogan was surprised. "Live here, huh?" Breaking into a sweat, Kim Nari quickly said, "There are no insects here, and there's a house, too. So I think this place is safe. I want to live here." He sighed, his voice low. "The kid really needs a place to rest, huh? All right, but if you want to stay, you'll have to work." Kim Nari was overjoyed, of course. "I'll do any job you give me." Dogan immediately assigned a task. "First, I need to till this plot of land. Can you help me?" "I need to build a new home for the mandragora plants." Kim Nari grabbed a stick and threw herself into the work, her voice full of confidence. "Just leave it to me. I'm very strong. I'm great at using my strength." Dogan watched the girl till the soil, enthusiastically thinking to himself, "It's not even trying to hide its identity anymore, or maybe it doesn't know how normal children behave. Because it only ever lived in a lab." He asked, "Hey, what's your name?" "I'm Dogan." Kim Nari was startled and stammered a name. I don't have a name yet, then I'll make a new one. Like that beautiful flower I saw the other day. "I am Kim Nari. My name is Kim Nari Chan." Dogan's face was emotionless. "Saffron flower." Then Kim Nari shouted in annoyance, "It's Kim Nari." In no time, a corner of the forest had been turned into soft-tilled earth. The little girl cheered. I'm done, that was fast. Chandogan looked at the rows of stone hoes he had made and happily watched the mandragoras dance around. They love it. I should have done this sooner. He suddenly noticed Kimnari's silence. Her eyes were quietly gazing at the garden as the faint sunset cast a somber orange-gold layer over the snowy mountain. Chandogan was startled to see Kimnari's eyes were red and tears were rolling down her cheeks. He frowned, his deep voice filled with concern. What's wrong? Why are you suddenly crying? Kimnari couldn't hide her feelings. Sobbing, looking at the mandragora plants reminds me of my friend's. Chandogan was astonished, his gaze sweeping over the little girl. Friends, impossible. How could that happen in a laboratory? Kimnari seemed to realize something and flinched, but before she could answer, a group of strangers appeared up high, their figures blurry in the snow. Chandogan remained calm, his voice even, don't be so shocked, it's just monsters hunting each other. That sound is a common thing around here. But Kimnari collapsed to her knees, her whole body trembling, her voice strained. Before I came here, I saw a monster that looked like a chick. Chandogan watched intently in the distance where the monsters were howling. It looks like it's being attacked by a pack, Kimnari, unable to regain her composure, whispered. It looked like it was in a lot of pain. It seems to have been bitten. Chandogan nodded, his voice cold. Probably, so it's probably about to be eaten. This is the demon world after all. He stopped and looked at the little girl. Wait a minute, you want to save that monster? Kimnari clutched her head in pain, her voice trembling. Save a monster. Chandogan felt a pang of pity, realizing she was still influenced by the brainwashing commands from the laboratory. I think the kid can't act on her own. Should I help her out a bit? But how do I say it so it doesn't sound like an order? He said softly. If you help, it might live. Want to go check it out? Then Kimnari immediately dashed off, shouting, I'm going. Far away, a growing horde of monsters surrounded the weak creature waiting to die. Kimnari charged forward, kicking an insect away and roaring. Don't bully it, I'll save you. The little girl remembered the fear of her old comrades as she leading this battle again. At this rate, we'll be sent to dangerous experiments. A teddy bear was torn to shreds. The monsters rushed in, punching and kicking. Kimnari, we want to live too. If only you weren't here, it would be fine. She held her head, wondering why I was just following orders. It hurts so much. Stop it, stop. This kind of bullying is wrong. Meanwhile, Chandogan was still feeding the mandragoras mana and smiled as it tasty. When Kimnari returned carrying the small monster, tears streamed down her face. What should I do? It's not waking up. The monster lay motionless, its breath faint. Chandogan was startled, as if remembering something. First calmed down. Wait, that monster looks familiar, Kimnari sobbed. It looks so bad. Is it going to die? He walked closer and calmly examined it. Let's see. Mana from his hand emitted a faint blue light surrounding the monster. He mumbled, thank goodness there are no fatal wounds. Each monster carries its own demonic energy and history. It has shrunk, and its color is paler, just as I thought. It's the immortal type monster from before, but why has it shrunk like this? Is its recovery method different from mine? Kimnari watched intently and asked anxiously, how is it? Is it really dying? Chandogan said in a calm voice. No, it's just malnourished. Its body shrank so it couldn't find food. I've transferred some mana to it. Just leave it be and it will recover on its own, he recalled. Kimnari remembered when she was a mechanical being. Facing her comrades, the teddy bear was heavily damaged. The little girl worriedly brought the monster to him and begged, sir, if we leave it like this, it will die. Look, it's all limp like a wet noodle. So can I raise it, please? I want to take care of it. I'll teach it properly and I'll feed it well too, can't I? Chandogan nodded, his eyes gentle. That thing might get very big when it grows up. Kimnari, flustered, said, I'll only feed it a little bit. He smiled. All right, it's up to you then, the little girl exclaimed. Really? He grinned brightly. Yeah, maybe letting it run around the yard as a guard would be good too. The monster slowly opened its eyes and mumbled, where am I? It looked at Chandogan, its eyes flaring with anger. That's the guy who stripped my family of everything last time. Kimnari was startled by its hostile attitude, but quickly regained her cheerful expression. It seems to be awake. It's cooing like a pigeon. The annoyed monster roared, let me go at once. Chandogan was surprised and wondered, what? I can understand what it's saying. It continued to shout. I said, let go, but Kimnari was still excited. Treatment complete. Hey, I've thought of a name for it. Since it keeps cooing like a pigeon, let's name it Goo. While carrying some wood, he replied, not bad, but Goo furiously roared, and why do you people just give me a name without asking? I already have my own name. Kimnari innocently poured a pot of water on its face because it kept crying it must be thirsty again. She turned to him worriedly. Hey, it's all soaking wet now. What should I do now? Goo's belly was full of water. It groaned, no more water, please. Chandogan gently said, it seems the kid doesn't understand it. Maybe we should stop giving it water, huh? But Kimnari had a different idea and exclaimed, maybe it's hungry. I'll go find some food, okay? Dogan arranged 3 pieces of wood and mumbled, so now I have more small things. Should I make a shelf to organize things neatly? As for the size, this should be about right. It doesn't need to be too big. He touched the blade to the wood, but the log split in 2 instantly. He was stunned. What the heck? I did it exactly the same way as the table and chairs. Gu spoke up angrily. The wood is different. The one in front of you is softwood? Dogun stared blankly at the log, huh? Different woods have different hardness levels. Gu was speechless. Of course, you don't even know that. He naively asked again, so what color wood is the hardest? Under the sunset that cast a hazy orange-gold glow on the snowy mountain, Gu was suddenly startled, its voice full of amazement. Obviously, it's the red wood. It turned to Dogun, its eyes wide. Wait, you really understand what I'm saying? But Dogun only focused on the previous sentence, mumbling with a thoughtful gaze, red wood. Gu stood up straight and stared, its voice flustered. I mean, it can't be. Dogun, still engrossed with the pile of wood in front of him, shook his head and said in a deep voice, no matter how closely I look, I don't see any trees with red wood. He looked up, his gaze as sharp as a blade. Could it be that your habitat isn't here? Gu became agitated and immediately cut off its train of thought, growling, no, wait, more importantly, you can hear me speak. Dogun turned back, his voice deep and steady. It's not exactly hearing, it's more like human words automatically appear in my head. He frowned and continued, but more than that. A monster understanding human language is even stranger, isn't it? Gu mumbled in confusion. That must be it, a rare intelligence-type monster born from an extremely low probability. I've only heard of such a thing. This is the first time I'm experiencing it myself. Dogun looked at Gu, his eyes as deep as a frozen lake. We've met before, haven't we? Gu didn't hide it and nodded. Yes, I really wanted to see you again. He asked in a gentle voice, you wanted to see me, why? Gu's voice lowered as it recalled, whatever the reason you saved me, I thought that if I ever met you again, I would want to help you once. Dogun nodded, his eyes lit up with a hint of pride. So that's what happened. The poison was neutralized. You and your family were drained of your power, but your immortal core remained intact, so you survived. He smiled. That's great. So can you help me with something now? Gu was startled by the sudden request and stammered right now, but it quickly nodded and threw off the white bandages on its body, its voice determined. All right. Follow me, I'll lead you to where the red trees grow. Suddenly, a plume of smoke billowed up. The forest burst into a fierce blaze. Flames licked through the canopy. Kimnari fled in a panic, screaming, get away. I hate the laboratory, it's so hot. A huge explosion knocked the little girl to the ground. Tears streamed down like a river. The laboratory is here to get me. What do I do? Fire is so scary. I hate fire. Namkai Seok, with a cold, terrifying face, emerged from the smoke, his gaze sharp as a knife. So it's true, a mechanical being can indeed transform itself. He frowned, his voice low. It's a bit much to attack a child, but please understand, my own life is also on the line. He unleashed his power towards Kimnari. The little girl's face was filled with terror as she turned back, hearing him say, I will end this here. But Dogun appeared just in time to save her, mumbling in a dissatisfied tone, I just wanted to finish building this cabinet quickly, and then eat and rest. Gu charged into the battle, roaring, I'll show you that tree later. Right now, we have to save the kid. From Dogun's eyes flashed a terrifying light like icy fire. Kimnari cowered in fear, mumbling, fire is so scary. Dogun looked at the little girl, his voice deep but gentle. Go. He thought to himself, Kimnari is terrified of fire. It seems she's not in her right mind. First, I have to put out the fire. He unleashed his power, extinguishing the flames in an instant. Turning to Namki Seok, bullying a child, are you? You bastard! Namki Seok roared in anger. What the hell are you? You're not a primitive. What group are you with? It seems you're also after the mechanical being. I don't have any more time. Get lost. Dogun replied fearlessly and coldly, you talk too much. Namki Seok was furious. You insolent bastard. What the hell are you talking about? Get lost! A stream of power shot from his finger, but Dogun blocked it easily. A light flashed. Namkai Seok watched in astonishment as the boulder behind him was obliterated. The space returned to peace. Dogun looked at Kimnari. Are you okay now? I think it's okay now. Kimnari slowly raised her head, her voice trembling. Sir, you put out the fire. Dogun looked at Namki Seok, sprawled on the snow, and mumbled, Kimnari, if you're scared, just give him a good punch. That'll do it. Wake up. He looked bewildered at the wig in his hand. This man has no hair. All 3 of them, Dogun, Kimnari, and Gu, gathered around, looking at the unconscious Namki Seok in amazement. This guy has been bald this whole time. Kimnari giggled. Being bald looks so funny. Look at the bald guy. I'm not scared anymore. Dogun silently assessed this guy is definitely no match for Kimnari. This will clear things up. Suddenly, a memory flashed through his mind thanks to the mental link. In a dark laboratory, a scientist smirked wickedly in front of a cage. Avoiding me, are you? It seems you've finally developed a bit of self-awareness. Come here, there's nothing to be afraid of. This is just another durability test. An explosion rang out, ending the memory. Chan Do-gun patted Kim Nari's head and praised, "You did well." He thought to himself, trauma doesn't disappear easily, but this is the first step. He turned to Gu, who was poking the bald head. "Now, what should we do with this guy?" Kim Nari's eyes lit up as she exclaimed, "I have a great idea." A moment later, Nam Ki-seok woke up in a panic, hanging suspended in the middle of a waterfall, hearing Kim Nari's gleeful laughter. "If he gets wet, his fire will go out. The bald guy isn't scary anymore." Nam Ki-seok screamed in his head. "This isn't why I came to the demon world," Kim Nari shouted. "You evil bald guy." Chan Do-gun awkwardly advised, "You shouldn't judge others by their appearance." But then he let out a wry laugh. "Maybe the kid will recover faster than I thought." Yes. A moment later, as he was scooping water from the stream, Gu asked curiously, "What are you doing, mister?" Chan Do-gun replied, immediately getting water to cook noodles. Kim Nari cheered excitedly. "Ramen, your fish ramen is the best," he teased, really. "The pineapple tribe eats fish ramen, too." Kim Nari played along super excitedly. "Yes, we do. The pineapple tribe loves noodles." Nam Ki-seok, hanging suspended, thought to himself, "This guy is at least an A+ rank hunter, maybe even stronger. He's probably an unregistered hunter living outside the system. But hanging someone up to eat ramen even in the demon world, this is just too weird." Kim Nari emerged from the stream holding a few fierce-looking fish and shouted loudly, "Mister, I caught some fish!" Chan Do-gun smiled. "Just give me one, that's enough. Let the rest go." Kim Nari nodded. "Got it, hurry up and put it in the pot." Nam Ki-seok's face turned pale as he muttered, "What is this?" "If you cook that monster, the broth will stink, and why is he using so much water? Do you people even know how to cook ramen?" Under the sunset that painted the snowy mountains gold, Kim Nari ran and jumped around innocently, her clear voice echoing in the cold air. "It's time for ramen, I'm so excited." Suddenly, Nam Ki-seok, still hanging in the middle of the waterfall, yelled out, making all three of them freeze. "Wait, can you let me down? I'll cook it myself." A moment later, Nam Ki-seok stood as if on a stage, muttering to himself with eyes full of determination. "It's just ramen, but right now for me, this is about survival." He carefully prepared his voice low, as if giving a lecture. "Ramen must be cooked with utmost sincerity, adhering to the basics. It's not like I know how to cook anything fancy." He measured the water, muttering the amount of water. "Just trust your feelings. 3 parts it is, I guess." He put the noodles and soup packet into the boiling water, counting his heartbeats. "My heart rate is 60 beats per minute. So after 270 heartbeats will be the perfect time." At exactly 270 beats, Nam Ki-seok lifted the noodles out and shouted now for an air bath. The crucial step is exposing the noodles to the air for that perfect springiness. He sighed with a look of regret in his eyes. "If only I had some kimchi, it would be perfect. But this is the demon world, I've done my best. No regrets." Nam Ki-seok's ramen of sincerity was ready, its aroma spreading through the cold air. He brought the ramen and placed it before the three of them, his voice excited. "Try it." "All right." Chan Do-gun picked up a strand of noodle to taste it, muttering, "All right then. Let's see now." All three put the noodles in their mouths, and immediately their eyes widened and their jaws dropped in shock. Chan Do-gun exclaimed, This is the taste of sincerity." Kim Nari jumped up and cheered. "Mister, this is really delicious. Do you humans always eat things this good?" Chan Do-gun chuckled awkwardly. "I guess so, huh? Even I'm surprised. Let's just eat for now." Just a moment later, the three of them had devoured the entire pot of ramen. Nam Ki-seok scratched his head in embarrassment and asked, "Did you like it?" Suddenly, Gu exclaimed, "Name your price. It's so good I can't possibly eat it for free. So just say it. If I can do it, I will." Nam Ki-seok hesitated, his eyes lighting up, really. He knelt down and begged, "Then please teach me." He looked at Chan Do-gun, his voice full of longing. "Hunter Nam Ki-seok, I want to be as strong as you. You're the strongest hunter I've ever met. Besides, look at that house. You must be here to clear the gate," he continued excitedly. "I can cook other things, too. I can even make fried eggs. My dad owns a small fried chicken shop, and I make amazing fried chicken. Going in and out of the gate for supplies must be a hassle, right? And laundry, too. Let me be your errand boy. Yes, I'll even pay tuition. Any amount is fine. I want to follow you and reach A rank." Chan Do-gun asked with a cold gaze. Just one question. "Why did you attack Kim Nari? Was it for the bounty?" Nam Ki-seok looked bewildered. "Kim Nari? You mean the robot? Before he could finish, he was cut off." "Shh, she's going along with some kind of pineapple tribe storyline right now. Just act normal." Nam Ki-seok lowered his head, his voice low. "It's a personal matter. It's hard to explain, but I don't care about the reward or Kim Nari. I just need to pass the hunter ranking exam. Nothing else matters." Chan Do-gun nodded decisively. "Is that so? Then get up." Nam Ki-seok looked confused. "Why?" Chan Do-gun said nonchalantly, "After such a good meal, you should at least be able to do this much. Let's fight. Our last fight ended way too quickly." Excited and grateful, Nam Ki-seok said, "Thank you, mister." Suddenly, Kim Nari cried out, "Mister, I want to fight instead." Chandogan couldn't believe his ears and asked Kim Nari, "Are you sure?" The super-excited girl replied, "You said it yourself, mister. When you're scared, you should punch it away. I want to extinguish this fear myself." Nam Ki Seok didn't take her seriously at all, scoffing, "Hey kid, you must have forgotten. He's strong all right, but I'm not weak either." Seeing him underestimate his opponent, Chandogan pointed to a boulder, his voice challenging Nam Ki Seok, "Right. Can you destroy that thing?" Nam Ki Seok hesitated. "That thing, that's obsidian. I heard it's much harder than diamond." Chandogan cut him off, "So what, you can't do it?" Nam Ki Seok waved his hands dismissively. "Come on, that's obsidian. You'd need at least an A-rank hunter." Before he could finish, the boulder exploded, sending fragments flying everywhere. Nam Ki Seok turned pale and stammered, "What the—" That last attack was from Kim Nari. The little girl repeated seriously, "Baldy, come out and fight." Nam Ki Seok, a natural-born awakened, was once a promising hunter. He first awakened his abilities around the age of 5, much earlier than the average age of the late teens. At the B-rank hunter exam at Site 12, with his hard work and natural talent, he achieved B-rank before the age of 21. His growth rate was explosive, accompanied by great fame. With his dream of becoming the best hunter, Nam Ki Seok's days were nearly perfect, except for one thing. While showering, he noticed his hair falling out. He screamed frantically, "What is this?" The curse of hair loss struck too early. At an age when others were just beginning to awaken, his hair began to thin. By his mid-20s, a distinct M-shaped hairline appeared. He ran to every pharmacy and clinic, but only received the same answer: "It's just going to keep falling out. You'd better just give up." With his handsome looks and natural talent, Nam Ki Seok, once shone brighter than anyone, but that halo quickly faded. His growth as a hunter also stagnated. Until one evening, a radio broadcast came on. "Today, we have Dr. Han Minggu from the Hanbit Research Institute. I hear you had an interesting experience in your recent research." His voice rang out, "Liquid metal is an extremely rare substance even in the demon world. I accidentally spilled it all over my head. Yes, and you know what? My hair grew back just like this. And I'm almost 90 years old, mind you." Under the hazy sunset that painted the snowy peaks, Gold Nam Ki Seok couldn't help but frown, his voice full of irritation. "What the heck is this?" But Dr. Han Minggu's next words stunned him even more. "So are you planning to develop a hair growth tonic next?" He shook his head, his voice low and determined. "No. Through this incident, I have once again realized that the demon world is a place full of mysteries. As an awakened being for the future of humanity, I will use the entire amount of liquid metal. Remaining to create a mechanical organism and win Korea's first prize, Nam Ki Seok couldn't take it anymore, slamming the table and yelling, "No, make the hair growth tonic. That's what's truly for the future of humanity." A few days later, a newspaper spread shocking news: the Hanbit Research Institute's masterpiece mechanical organism has escaped into the demon world. Nam Ki Seok's eyes gleamed as he hurriedly got dressed and rushed out, muttering, "There are no laws in the demon world. In other words, finders keepers. I will definitely find it. I'll find it and pour it all over my head back to the present." Nam Ki Seok lay sprawled on the ground, struggling to look at Kim Nari, and lamented, "Isn't this kid just too strong?" Kim Nari stood triumphantly with her hands on her hips, laughing loudly. "I won again." Chandogan stood by with his arms crossed, sighing. He couldn't even land a single hit. He looked at Nam Ki Seok, his voice serious. "If you keep this up, I won't let you be my errand boy any more." Nam Ki Seok cried out in fear, "I'll try harder. Please keep an eye on me." On the other side, Chandogan had just finished a cabinet, smiling with satisfaction. "The storage cabinet is done. This red wood is really sturdy. Thanks for showing me." Gu inspected it and nodded. "It'll last a long time." So Chandogan turned to Nam Ki Seok, thinking to himself, "This guy at least has some spirit." Nam Ki Seok let out a breath, wondering why he felt so strangely relieved after getting beaten to a pulp all day. Could it be because I took off my wig? At that thought, he gathered his strength and shouted Kim Nari one more time. Gu, watching the match, commented his fire control isn't half bad. "But you can't even beat a kid," Chandogan countered in a deep voice, "and Kim Nari is no ordinary kid." On the other side, Nam Ki Seok charged forward with his fire spear, shouting loudly, "This time I will definitely win." Kim Nari took a stance and replied, "Bring it on, mister." The fire spear hit Kim Nari, who turned into liquid, leaving Nam Ki Seok stunned. "Is this liquefaction?" Before he could finish his thought, the girl reformed and kicked him right in the face. Kim Nari stood with her hands on her hips, laughing gleefully. "I'm not afraid of fire anymore. It's all thanks to you, mister." Nam Ki Seok lay in the dirt, smiling bitterly. Is this the limit of someone who will forever be B rank? I don't have any skills left to use. No, I have to get up. When will a washed-up guy like me ever get a chance like this again? Let's go one more time. Kim Nari looked at him and suddenly paused. "Huh, your nose is bleeding." John Dogan stepped forward and asked, "How many days have you been in the demon world?" Nam Kisuok wiped the blood and replied, Today is the 9th day." John Dogan said sternly, "You should go back. At your level, staying any longer will get you killed by the demonic energy." Nam Kisuok immediately nodded in agreement. "I guess I should head back. I wanted to stay longer, but..." John Dogan unexpectedly praised him. "Still, you have the potential to reach A rank, so keep trying harder." Nam Kisuok's eyes widened in disbelief. "Me?" But then his shoulders slumped as he lamented, "I've failed the A-rank exam for 6 consecutive years. People say that if you fail the exam for the same rank for more than 3 years, you're a lost cause. It's supposedly unprecedented in history." John Dogan encouraged him with a confident voice. "I think you can do it. Your mana core hasn't fully developed yet. Don't give up, okay? When you get back, remember to completely purify the demonic energy." Hearing this, Nam Kisuok was overjoyed and thanked him profusely. "Thank you so much, sir. I, Nam Kisuok, will do my very best. I hope you'll watch over me." John Dogan thought to himself, "I will train you into an A-rank as an A-rank hunter myself." A moment later, a portal opened. Nam Kisuok stood before it with his luggage and asked, "Does anyone need anything else?" "I think we're out of ramen." Both Kim Nari and John Dogan nodded and said in unison, "Ramen. That must be it." Nam Kisuok offered, "Then I'll go buy some right away." Kim Nari made a funny face and teased, "Be careful on your way, mister." So Nam Kisuok lingered to issue a challenge, "Keep training, kid. Next time, I'll be the one to win." He hesitated and asked, by the way, sir, have you seen my wig anywhere?" John Dogan glanced at Gu and forced a smile. "I don't recall seeing it." Nam Kisuok seemed to understand and sighed, "I see. Well, I'm heading back then. Man, where could it have gone?" As he finished speaking, the portal closed and Nam Kisuok vanished. Gu wondered in a deep voice, "Is this really all right?" Not understanding, John Dogan asked, "What do you mean?" Gu analyzed. "What if he betrays us? He might bring other hunters back with him." John Dogan dismissed the concern and asked in return, "What do you think? You can read other people's memories, can't you? But at the very least, his desire to become stronger is genuine, and so is the fact that he's bald." He smiled. "I like sincere people like that. This will be fun." Suddenly, Kim Nari called out, "Mister, do you understand what Gu is saying?" "Yeah." John Dogan looked puzzled. "Haven't I told you? Yes, I can understand what Gu is saying." A moment later, they both entered the wooden house looking at the bare interior. John Dogan said with satisfaction, "I finished that storage cabinet thanks to Gu's suggestion." "What do you think? The house looks a lot neater, doesn't it?" Kim Nari hesitated. "But it's a little dark, don't you think?" John Dogan immediately transformed his hand into a blade and cut away a section of the wall. "Really then, I'll add another window." He made a window for each of them. Kim Nari, overjoyed, exclaimed, "It's so bright, I love it." John Dogan stroked his chin and mumbled, "If you like it bright, we'll need to install some lights." "So it won't be dark at night anymore?" Kim Nari asked curiously. "Lights, how can we install those?" He explained, "There's a type of stone called luminous ore. It glows in the dark. If we get a few pieces and hang them from the ceiling, it will light up the whole room." Under the fiery red glow of the fire domain, where lava flows slowly like the earth's veins, Gu looked up curiously, his voice filled with interest. "You know where to find those stones?" John Dogan nodded, his eyes sparkling with confidence. "Yeah, we can find them in the fire domain." But Gu's expression immediately darkened, his voice growing somber. "The fire domain. A place known for being extremely dangerous among hunters. And also my homeland." John Dogan couldn't understand. He frowned. Why would he be so sad about returning to his homeland? Suddenly, Kim Nari lifted Gu up, her clear voice laced with concern. "Mister, what is Gu saying? His voice sounds so strange. Something seems to be making him sad." Gu, his face pale, struggled in her arms. "This kid is way too perceptive," John Dogan eagerly explained. His voice was low but clear. "I think Gu is worried about us going to the fire domain. I'll go by myself. You two can stay here." Kim Nari immediately protested, her eyes shining. "No, I want to go too. I'm not afraid of fire anymore. I want to go to the fire domain with you." John Dogan marveled, a flash of surprise in his eyes. He hadn't expected her to overcome her fear so quickly. Gu suddenly shouted, "Gu, I'm going too. I have some business to take care of there." Seeing them both volunteer, John Dogan finally nodded, his voice deep and warm. "All right then. Then let's all go together." Gu's eyes sparkled as he suggested, "In return, I'll make some special equipment for the two of you to use in the fire domain." Meanwhile, in the Mandragora field, Nam's wig, Kisuok's was being secretly used as fertilizer by the plants slowly dissolving into the earth. Sometime later in the fire domain, a massive explosion shook the space, causing the monsters within to flee in a panic. The fire domain, a notorious volcanic land, is one of the 3 most dangerous regions that hunters in the demon world avoid. The volcanic ash is sharp as a razor and can tear through flesh. Toxic fumes mixed with demonic energy are lethal with just one breath. Information about this place is virtually non-existent in the human world. Suddenly, the sight of Kim Nari playing with lava made Gu scream. "What is that girl doing?" John Dogan replied nonchalantly. "She's playing with fire." Gu looked at him questioningly. "That girl is a mechanical being, so I guess she's unaffected, but how are you perfectly fine?" "You just what in the world are you?" John Dogan smirked mysteriously. "Me, I'm a chimera hunter." Gu was still pondering, I had a feeling. "But chimera hunters don't usually look human." John Dogan admitted in a low voice, "I didn't look like this before either. But after I was reborn, I took on a human form. What about you? Are you all right traveling with us? You're a monster. Isn't it uncomfortable for you to be around hunters?" Gu cleared his throat and replied, "Well, it's not too bad. It's actually fun talking to others." "You don't seem like bad people." John Dogan smiled in relief. "Well, that's good then." Just then, Kim Nari emerged from the lava flow, her metallic legs gleaming, and asked excitedly, "Are you talking with Gu again?" "I want to talk with Gu, too." John Dogan chuckled. "Yeah, he's curious what we were talking about." Kim Nari's eyes lit up as she exclaimed, "You're a native of the demon world, me too," Gu mumbled helplessly. "I'm the real native here, you cheeky brat." After he explained the situation to her, Kim Nari skipped along and said, "So the luminous ore is near a place where lava is about to erupt. That means it's near the crater. It looks like we're almost there." No sooner had she spoken than the crater appeared before them. She jumped up and down in excitement. "We've reached the summit now, let's see." John Dogan looked down, a hint of surprise in his eyes. "Oh, there's the luminous ore. But is that a fire toad over there?" A fire toad was tilting its head back, making a sound like it was crying. The strange sight was unbelievable. "Is it crying?" Kim Nari pointed ahead and shouted, "Mister, look. There's another one in front." Gu took one look and immediately understood. It seems the female died during the journey. The one carrying the eggs on its back is the female. Female fire toads carry their eggs on their backs after laying them, and only females in breeding season have indented backs like that. But if the female dies, all the eggs die with her. The temperature at the crater is too high for the eggs. Hearing this, Kim Nari's eyes filled with tears. The poor fire toad. It looked so sad about losing its mate. Suddenly, John Dogan stomped his foot, causing a slight tremor. Kim Nari asked in surprise, "Mister, where are you going?" Gu urgently warned John Dogan, "Get back here," but it was too late. A fire toad spotted him and attacked the intruder, puffing out its cheeks and spewing fire. A finger with a tiny needle tip pierced through the flames. John Dogan lightly touched the toad's head, paralyzing it on the spot. "Hold on, just lie still." He looked at the poison needle on his finger, from which blood was still oozing, and said wistfully, "This is a paralyzing venom from a NECA cobra. I only injected a tiny bit, so you'll wake up soon. Fire toads are resistant to poison anyway." Standing at the edge of the crater, Kim Nari shouted, "Mister, are you all right?" He looked up and replied, "I'm fine. I have fire cells. I can't do anything for the one that died, but the living can still live on." With that thought, he used his silkworm cells to shoot out a thread, tightly securing the egg sac to the fire toad's back. A moment later, he dusted off his hands and said, "I've secured them tightly. They should be able to hatch now." As soon as he finished speaking, he widened his eyes in surprise, watching the two toads bump their heads together, wondering if they were saying their final goodbyes. After parting with its mate, the fire toad brandished its claws and leaped straight out of the volcano's crater. Kim Nari watched with her mouth agape as it flew away under the crimson light of the fire domain. In the place where lava flowed like rivers of fire, the fire toad landed behind Kim Nari, glancing at the group with a cold, sharp gaze before leaping away. As it disappeared into the smoke, Kim Nari was still stunned. Then she shrieked, "The fire toad just looked this way." "I think it was thanking us." John Dogan watched the toad's retreating figure and smiled faintly. I guess so, probably because it saw its mate was dead. He turned back, his voice low but firm. "There's nothing left to do here. Let's get down, let's hurry and mine the luminous stones and then go home." Kim Nari imitated his voice enthusiastically. "Yes, let's dig fast and then go home." The little girl reached out, grabbed a sparkling luminous stone, plucked it from the rock, and exclaimed, "This one. It's so beautiful." John Dogan reminded her with a gentle gaze, "Be careful, it'll hurt if you drop it on your foot." Gu carefully picked up each luminous stone and gathered them into a bag, but suddenly stopped its eyes, looking weary. John Dogan turned curiously as something wrong. "You look so tired." Gu looked dejectedly at the full bag of luminous stones and mumbled, "Before I could toss these things around so easily, now I've been shrunk like this." John Dogan understood the problem. He turned away, his voice echoing back, "You don't need to help, so why don't you go do your own thing? You're bringing gifts to see your friends again, right?" Gu's face turned red as it retorted, "What kind of friends would a monster have?" "I'm not planning to meet anyone. I'll just bring the gifts, leave them there, and go home." John Dogan stroked his chin, his voice serious. Are you shy? Do you miss your kind? A monster with intelligence is really different. Goo couldn't stand it and protested, I don't miss anyone. I just regret not being able to say goodbye before I left. John Dogan asked again, but did you leave the pack on your own? Goo answered awkwardly, hesitating. Well, having intelligence is a good thing, but it also has a downside. It looked around with a distant gaze. Sometimes I'd look at the animals around me and wonder, is this red? Is it dark red or light red? Why is it red? Suddenly, one of my packmates would walk up and eat the thing I was looking at. I'd be dumbfounded, why did it just eat that? Ah, forget it, there's no point in talking about it. It sighed. But in a place where no one else could think or understand language, I felt so lonely. So I left the pack and lived alone. My pack probably doesn't even know I'm gone. They don't even know what pack camaraderie is. Anyway, why won't this thing come out? Suddenly, a luminous stone fell out, making a strange sound. Kim Nari screamed, "What's that sound?" The little girl looked down and discovered an egg under the rocks. "Mister, this egg." John Dogan nodded, observing it. It looks like a monster egg. I wonder what species. Is it broken? There's a small crack. It was probably hit by accident when Goo dropped the luminous stone. He explained the hatchling has to break out of the shell on its own to grow up strong and healthy. Kim Nari asked worriedly, so what should we do? Let's just take it back with us. If we leave it here, it'll become a roasted egg. Goo immediately objected. What? What if something hatches from it? John Dogan mumbled thoughtfully, actually, there's an ideal place to make a nest nearby. I'm also curious about what's inside. He decided there's no other way, let's take it back. Kim Nari exclaimed with joy, that's great, thank you. Goo grumbled nonstop, are you crazy? I've never seen an egg like this before. John Dogan turned and asked, well then, who was it that dropped the luminous stone? Goo was at a loss for words and said awkwardly, but what if Kim Nari is in danger? John Dogan smiled, it's okay, I'll make sure she's safe. Goo had no choice but to compromise. Yeah, well, with you here, I guess it'll be fine. John Dogan instructed, it's decided then, let's take it back. Yes, let's dig a few more luminous stones first. Kim Nari said enthusiastically, yes, let's dig fast and then go home. A while later at John Dogan's strange wooden house, the group returned under the crimson sunset. Kim Nari cheered excitedly, we're home. Nam Ki Seok, who was sitting near the dining table, heard them and turned. Boss, where have you been? John Dogan answered a bit surprised. Ah, you're back early too. Nam Ki Seok walked over and offered, here, let me carry that for you. John Dogan paused, thinking to himself, why is he here? But he still handed over the bag of luminous stones. It's heavy. Nam Ki Seok smiled, I'm strong. But when he took it, he exclaimed, what's in here that's so heavy? Meanwhile, John Dogan stared and ordered Nam Ki Seok, lift your head. Why does your face look like this? At the same time in the fire domain, the gift that Goo left behind was being feasted on by its packmates. Back in the present, facing John Dogan's question, did you get into a fight with someone? I didn't expect you to be the type to get beaten up. Nam Ki Seok scratched his head and smiled wryly. Nari beats me up here all the time, too. John Dogan said helplessly, you sound so proud of yourself, huh? Embarrassed, Nam Ki Seok quickly changed the subject. You must be hungry. I'll go prepare some food right away. Yes? A while later, John Dogan turned his finger into a drill and meticulously carved a stone. Kim Nari stood beside him curiously. What are you doing, mister? He explained honestly, I'm carving the luminous stones to hang them from the ceiling for decoration. Kim Nari was stunned for a moment, then her eyes lit up and she exclaimed, I think you're really brilliant. You know so much, your explanations are clear, and you're also kind, just like a father. John Dogan chuckled. So is your father in the pineapple tribe still doing well? Kim Nari became flustered and avoided the question. Yes, of course he is. That afternoon, as the sun set, it cast a layer of warm light over the wooden house. Goo stretched out on the ground, enjoying it. The sunset is really warm, though it's not like the one in the volcanic region. But the one I was looking for has appeared? As it was daydreaming, a pair of small feet approached. 3 pairs of bloodshot red eyes from the mandragoras locked onto Goo as their target. One mandragora leaped up and executed a skill mandragora. It rolled all over the place, attacking, but against a chubby Goo, this attack had no effect. After a dizzying spin, Goo finally realized and shouted, what is this? What's going on? Kim Nari snapped irritably. Why are you fighting? Under the crimson light of the fire domain, where lava flows like the veins of the earth, John Dogan wasn't very surprised, his voice low and steady. They're probably angry because Goo invaded their territory. Just then, Nam Ki Seok brought out a dish and placed it on the table with a radiant smile. Now then, thank you for waiting patiently. A sweet and sour flavor, perfect for all children. Inari Sushi. Sincere Inari Sushi from Nam Ki Seok. Flavor 80 carbohydrates, 22 protein, 19 salt, 18. Looking at the beautifully presented dish, Nam Ki Seok was secretly pleased. It's easy to make and also easy to present in an eye-catching way. Gu jumped up, its eyes sparkling, and praised it. "This looks great." Nam Ki-seok spread his arms with a bright smile. "Come on, everyone, eat up." But John Dogan didn't rush to eat. He turned with a serious voice. "First of all, you still haven't answered my question from earlier. Why does your face look like that?" Nam Ki-seok miserably scratched his head, his voice awkward. "Well, about that." A while later, after the food was all gone, Nam Ki-seok began his story. "I went to the Hunters Association to register for the exam and ran into some A-rank guys." John Dogan continued, his gaze sharp. "You were mocked for failing the test 7 times, then you started a fight with them and got beaten to a pulp." Nam Ki-seok hung his head and admitted, "Yes. They told me not to loiter around and dirty the place anymore. They kept teasing me and asked if my self-respect had fallen out along with my hair." John Dogan interrupted, furrowing his brow. "But that's a buzz cut, isn't it? It's not like you're completely bald." At the mention of hair, Nam Ki-seok fell silent and froze on the spot. John Dogan had to change the subject. "So when is your promotion test?" "Yes." Nam Ki-seok replied, "Immediately, next month in about 60 days. John Dogan stood up and declared, "In that case, we'll have to do some special training." Nam Ki-seok was overjoyed and promised, "Okay, I'll do my absolute best." But the first task John Dogan gave him was, first of all, from now on you will wash the dishes instead of Kim Nari. Nam Ki-seok was stunned washing dishes. John Dogan pointed and continued, "And do you see those leftover luminous stones over there? They're covered in volcanic dust. Take them and wash them clean, too." Nam Ki-seok was horrified, all of them. "But you said it was special training." John Dogan didn't want to explain further and turned away. "If you don't want to do it, then just stay a B rank forever. Kim Nari, let's go fishing so we don't get bored." Kim Nari skipped down to the riverbank and exclaimed, "That sounds like fun." He watched the two of them leave. Nam Ki-seok dejectedly lowered his head but still complied, telling himself, "That's right, he must have a plan for me." Everyone thinks Nam Ki-seok is a natural genius, but I had to train hard and put in so much effort just to reach B rank, he thought to himself. A person with nothing but diligence and effort. A person who once determined will see it through to the end. Someone who failed 6 times yet continues to try for a 7th time. And then there's a person who already has everything and is also a good person. A while later at the riverbank, Kim Nari complained dejectedly, "Mister, none of the fish are biting my hook. They're all swimming over to your spot." Nam Ki-seok, who was just washing the cookware, was also being chased by fish and yelled, "Mister, help me. Water-type creatures are my elemental weakness. It hurts so much." John Dogan sighed wearily, walked over and questioned him. "What are you doing?" "Just use your mana to envelop your body like a shield." Nam Ki-seok scratched his head sheepishly. "I'm still practicing, but it's not very effective yet." Then John Dogan reached into his pocket, pulled out a luminous stone, and handed it to Nam Ki-seok. "Take this." Nam Ki-seok was confused. "Just hold it." But when he touched the mana radiating from the stone, it terrified him into letting go. "This is mana, isn't it? I can't focus the power into my hand." Chong Dogun explained that occasionally there will be a lightstone containing extremely dense mana in the demon realm is unpurified raw energy, so you have to push mana with mana. It has been refined to harness its power. You already have enough mana in your body. You just haven't mastered it yet. He pointed to a few pressure points to help Nam Ki-seok open up the flow. He looked at his own hand in disbelief. "This is..." Chong Dogun nodded. "It should be flowing now. Let the mana flow and go with it. Now focus on the mana and try to lift the lightstone." Nam Ki-seok tried with all his might. After a brief struggle, he shouted with joy, "I lifted it." He was excited, just as I thought. Washing the dishes and the lightstones were all part of the mana training plan you arranged for me. John Dogan smiled. "Then I'll leave the dishes to you. While you wash, circulate your mana." Nam Ki-seok, overjoyed, replied immediately, "Just leave it to me. I, Nam Ki-seok, am a man who can clean anything, a master of domestic chores." That evening, a quiet night enveloped the wooden house. The lightstones hanging from the ceiling cast a soft glow on the 3 of them. Chong Dogun snored steadily. Nam Ki-seok drooled in his sleep, and Gu frowned, leaning against the egg, grumbling. "I shouldn't have slept in the late afternoon." Suddenly it shot its eyes open and saw Kim Nari standing there with a dark expression. Gu, confused, wondered, "What's that kid doing up so late?" Under the light of the lightstones, Kim Nari walked to the riverbank, looked at the clothes she was wearing, and mumbled, "My clothes are covered in stains, and these are Uncle Chong's clothes too. No matter a quick wash and they'll be clean." Under the soft light of the lightstones hanging from the ceiling, Kim Nari happily washed the clothes, unaware of Gu's curious eyes watching her. Gu nudged Chong Dogun, its voice nagging. "She's a girl, and she doesn't have any other clothes to change into." Chong Dogun, slightly flustered, mumbled, "It's fine for me to wear the same thing over and over." But just then, Kim Nari cheered in a clear voice, "Done, all the stains are gone." Slowly, Chong Do-gun blamed himself. His gaze turning pensive, she's still just a child. "Have I been too neglectful?" Kim Nari stood with her hands on her hips, proudly showing that the laundry was done. The clothes were as clean as new. Just then, Chong Do-gun and Gu walked out, pretending to look around nonchalantly. He spoke up, "Oh my, the night breeze feels so refreshing." Kim Nari was startled, "Huh? Why are you here, uncle?" Chong Do-gun smiled at the little girl. "I'm taking a walk with, Gu. Are you out enjoying the night breeze, too?" Kim Nari flustered, played along, "Yes, I am. I'm taking a walk." Chong Do-gun, in a gentle voice, suggested Kim Nari stand still for a moment. "You tie it like this, kid. Then add a flower right here." "What do you think? It's cute, isn't it?" Kim Nari was delighted, her eyes sparkling. "It's so pretty." "It looks just like yours, uncle." Chong Do-gun laughed. "This is the lotus flower, your favorite." Suddenly, a sound from the nearby bushes made Kim Nari scream. What was that sound? John Do-gun looked over, shook his head, and smiled. "It's nothing, just a grasshopper. Let's go back." In the tall grass, a B-rank steel grasshopper hid silently on the way back. Kim Nari sighed in relief, completely startled. As they walked, Chong Do-gun asked, "Hey, Kim Nari, is there anything you need? Like clothes or shoes or something?" Kim Nari replied without much interest, "You already gave me clothes, didn't you? I really like this outfit." The next day, in the slums of District 13, a dungeon gate opened. Chong Do-gun stepped out, his mind racing. Kim Nari said it's fine, but letting her wear the same ill-fitting outfit all the time doesn't feel right. Gu keeps nagging me about it. I want to take her to pick out her own clothes, but the human world is probably still too much for her. She still has a tracking device on her, too. It's strange, I can't believe I'm using a gate stone just to come back to the slums to find children's clothes. I'm sure I remember a clothing store around here. Has it been that long? Is it not here anymore? Suddenly, a hand grabbed his shirt and pulled him back. A voice rang out. "Excuse me, sir, are you looking for a clothing store?" 10,000 for the service fee, just 10,001, and I'll take you to a clothing shop. You're not from around here, are you? "I know a place that's cheap and good," Chong Do-gun replied coolly. "I'll pay after I've exchanged the goods. I don't have any cash right now." The young man pouted, a hunter with no money. He looks like a rookie who just entered the demon realm and got his butt kicked, but he still turned to lead the way. "I guess you still have money for clothes." Follow me. I usually ask for payment up front, but you look so pathetic, I'll make an exception." Chong Do-gun nodded happily. "Yeah, thanks." On the way the two chatted animatedly, the young man introduced himself. "My name is Oh Bong-soo. I'm Chong Do-gun." Chong Do-gun smiled, "So you can call me John, okay?" Looking at the surrounding scenery, he thought to himself, now there are even patrol cars. The slums are much more secure now. Suddenly, Oh Bong-soo glanced back and asked, "You just awakened recently, didn't you?" Chong Do-gun was a bit startled. "Do I look that much like it?" Bong-soo said without even looking, "You came out of the gate without any equipment. That means you spent a lot on gear and then got robbed, but don't be discouraged. Everyone's like that at the beginning." John Do-gun laughed teasingly. "You're so young, yet you know so much." Bong-soo got angry, turned around and shouted, "What did you say?" "I'm not a kid, you know. I'm just short because I'm a picky eater. I'm already 17 years old." After walking a bit further, Bong-soo warned, "Even though this whole area is the slums, you should avoid District 13. That place is notoriously dangerous. The Space Gang, originally from District 11, just expanded their territory here. The police have given up, so no one dares to stand up for anyone anymore. Oh, this is District 12. Hearing that, John Do-gun wondered to himself, the Space Gang, huh? I wonder if the orphanage in District 13, where I used to live, still exists. Meanwhile, at a buy one, get one free shop, the owner, Miss Park, sighed in frustration. I must be crazy to open a clothing store in the slums. But couples don't even dare to have kids because they can't afford to raise them, and children's clothes are my main product. Maybe I should switch to selling something else just then. The door opened. Oh Bong-soo led Chong Do-gun in, smiling and saying, "Miss Park, I'm back." The moment the owner saw him, she got angry. "You little brat, I told you to call me sister. I'm not married yet, so don't you dare call me ma'am." John Do-gun, not paying much attention, looked around and remarked, "This is the first time I've ever actually come into a clothing store to buy something." Oh, Bong-soo focused on his introduction. "This gentleman says he needs to buy some clothes. He's a hunter." But Miss Park got even angrier, pulling Bong-soo to a corner and yelling, "Hey, Bong-soo, come here for a second. How long are you going to keep bringing these broke hunters here? Do you know how many times I've had to put their purchases on a tab?" Oh, Bong-soo mumbled helplessly. How was I supposed to know if he had money or not? Miss Park shouted, her voice full of frustration. "Use your eyes. Does he look like he has any money?" "Oh," Bong-soo retorted, unconvinced, "but he's handsome. Besides, you were the one who told me to keep bringing pitiful hunters here, because they remind you of your late younger brother." Park pointed a finger in his face and scolded, "Only once or twice. If I keep helping people like you, I'll end up homeless too. Who hired you to help me? I'm the one who buys your food. I'm the one who buys you food with my own money." Seeing the two arguing intensely, Chong Do-gun interjected in a calm voice, "I'm sorry, I need to buy some clothes. I only have this much. How much can I buy with this?" Park looked at the money in his hand, and both of them stared with wide eyes. A wad of cash, 1,000,001. Park regained her composure and slammed her hand on the table. "Every day. Here is a surprise welcome, esteemed customer, to the world of happy children. From adult to children's clothing, my place has it all. Are you buying for yourself, sir?" John Dogan replied calmly, "Clothes for a girl kindergarten age. Please help me pick out a few items," Park happily suggested. "Oh my, you've come to the right place. Children's clothes are my specialty. So let's start with this year's new spring-summer collection, shall we? It definitely has to be the original, please. For an active child, clothes that are easy to move in are the best, right? Most importantly, if you see pink, you have to grab it, yes." After a flurry of enthusiastic recommendations, the receipt printer spat out orders continuously. Park looked at the pile of clothes in front of her, her eyes welling up. If only every day could be like this. "Everything's sold out. I can't believe it completely sold out. That's over 100 items. Do you need me to have them delivered for you?" Chong Dogan waved his hand. "No need, I can carry them myself." "Oh, Bongsu, this is for you. I have one more thing I need you to do." A moment later, the two were walking down a street in the slums carrying huge bags of clothes. Chong Dogun thought to himself, his eyes lighting up. Buying new clothes is actually pretty fun. Yes, in a moment, Oh Bongsu led him to an apartment and said, "Here it is, a stable, clean room, just as you wanted. There's a police station nearby, so security is good and the landlord is kind." John Dogan, satisfied, pushed the door and stepped inside. "Really, wait a moment, I'll be right out." Oh Bongsu looked inside nervously. Something's not right, no matter how much money he has, giving a kid like me 100,000 won. And buying all those clothes. I heard there are a lot of people who lure kids with money to kidnap them these days. Maybe I should just run. But he told himself, but what if he's really a good person like Miss Park? "I was just thinking as I came out, you were right. The landlord is really nice, and it's clean inside too here. You seemed anxious out on the street, so I've already paid for 1 year of rent in advance. Live here from now on. I've also paid for your food. So make sure you eat properly. I'm leaving now." Oh Bongsu, still in disbelief, lowered his head and asked, "If I go in, are you going to kidnap me?" John Dogan, who was opening a portal, looked back in confusion. "Huh, what are you talking about? You're the one who introduced me." Oh, Bongsu grew even more confused. "If that's not it, then why—" "This is the first time we've met." "All right, the introduction fee, the clothes, and now even a place to live. Why are you so good to me?" John Dogan smiled, his voice deep and warm. "You just remind me of my past. I once lived just like you, though. That was a very long time ago. Goodbye, see you later." "Yes." A moment later, just as John Dogan returned, Kim Nari put her hands on her hips and shouted, "You're back. Where did you go without saying a word, Uncle?" He replied calmly, "I went to buy a present for you, kiddo." At the mention of a present, Kim Nari's eyes lit up. A present. Gu looked at the pile of items in disbelief. "Oh, you bought so much." Meanwhile, Nam Ki-seok, who was still miserable about not having clothes, watched as Kim Nari cheerfully picked out an outfit and ran off. "These new clothes are so pretty." John Dogan puffed up his chest. "If you like one, go inside and change." And Kim Nari picked up an outfit, agreeing, "Okay, I'll go change right now." Suddenly, the egg they had brought back began to stir, the cracks on its shell growing more numerous. And so John Dogan sat down to neatly fold the clothes, thinking to himself as he earnestly began the task. "I don't know why, but this feels really relaxing." Kim Nari rushed out, calling, "Uncle, look at me. I think this one is so pretty." Seeing her shyness, John Dogan praised her. "It really is very pretty." "Is that your favorite one?" Kim Nari blushed. "I want to try a few more," but when she put on a pair of pants, she yelled, "How am I supposed to wear these?" Then came an oversized shirt. "I'm a ghost, and how about this one?" So many cool clothes, John Dogan and Gu could only chuckle fondly. Her excitement is so adorable.